Hi guys, so today's video is grades 11 and 12, and let's dive right in. So first semester of grade 11, I had 3 classes and a spare period. My classes were world religions, biology, world history. Sorry if I'm looking to the side here, I'm looking at notes. So world religions was a required course for a religion credit, and I didn't learn a single thing in that class. I know I passed it quite well academically, but that class, a lot of immature, spoiled brat, badly behaved students, and also a teacher who was a very weak disciplinarian. So I ended up removing myself to the hallway a lot, so I wouldn't go berserk, because the other kids were aggravating. I had biology, which was an elective, because at the time I was thinking I wanted to be a paramedic. And I remember that teacher was weird. The class was pretty well behaved. I did fine academically, although the human anatomy unit, I got a little bored because I knew a lot of the material already, but it wasn't bad. The problem was the teacher had this weird policy that if the whole class didn't hand something in, she wouldn't mark it. So if 30 of us turned something in and 2 people didn't, nobody got a mark on that assignment. And I don't know why I never told anybody. I'd work my butt off on these assignments and they wouldn't get marked. And I still got 80 something in that class. But for paramedic, it's very competitive. You have to be like 98% in these courses. So I remember being annoyed at the teacher for that, but paramedic never would have worked anyway. And then my third class in that semester was world history. That was also an elective. It was suggested by the grade 10 history teacher. Ignore my cat. It was suggested by my grade 10 history teacher to the class if anyone was interested in history. Sorry. So the grade 10 history is a required course, and a lot of the students in that class seemed to like it. So the teacher strongly suggested we take world history in grade 11. So I took it, but it was interesting because I talked about before the applied and academic streams, university and college level, and this course was open to both streams, and most of the students were university stream, which was good for me in terms of behavior because there was none. They were mature students, not mature in age. I mean mature and emotionally. It was a bit of a ding to my ego because I tended to be a bit of a know-it-all, and in that class, by no means was I the smartest one there. So it was interesting. It felt different. I felt small and meek in the corner. It was different for sure. And sometimes I would get overwhelmed with the assignments. It's sort of that initiation deficit. And I needed a bit of kick in the pants to sort of, Emily, do this, do this, do this. But then I would churn it out, and usually it was fine. Except for the time we had to build a model of an Egyptian tomb. That didn't go well because my motor skills are so poor. But I passed the course. So first semester was pretty uneventful. Second semester of grade 11 was a little bit interesting. So my first period was supposed to be a class, and once again an elective, called Introduction to Anthropology, Psychology, and Sociology. When I walked into the class, it was a very small group of students, maybe 9 students, and the teacher was the same one I'd had for parenting class. Parenting class was where I got to take home the baby doll. This teacher was weird. She just made me uncomfortable. And I didn't want to be in this class, so I went to the special ed department and I told the resource whatever teacher there that I needed this as a spare period because I had English and then I had a co-op placement in the afternoon, and I really did not need the spare period. I didn't have that much homework, but I don't know if he wanted me out of my hair or what, but he bought it, and I'm not completely proud of this because I did lie, but it's in the past. I can't undo it. So I dropped that course, and what I would do, I use that as a spare period, and when I had no homework, I would work on an independent learning credit, which I talked about a couple videos ago. And this one was about, I think it was called Healthy Active Living. So I did that, so I still got a credit. And then second period, I had English. And this semester of high school, I was on a medication my psychiatrist was trying me on, and she had me stay on it for like 6 months because I kept telling her it was making me really drowsy and I wanted to get off it. And yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. And she kept me on it. But as a result, instead of being boisterous and annoying in English class, I was like half asleep in the back of the room most of the semester. The teacher actually thought I was a really quiet student. So at the end of the semester, when I was off the med and I actually talked back to him, he was shocked. But because I was drugged, that class was uneventful. And then I had my co-op in the afternoon, and the co-op is worth 2 credits because it covers 2 periods of the day. And I actually wanted to go to Reptilia, which is the reptile zoo in our area, but they were not nice to me. I went in a big snowstorm, and the guy gave me like 5 minutes of his time for the interview, and said I had no experience, which is ridiculous. It's a high school co-op placement. So instead, I got sent to, it's called Community Living York South. Community Living Canada provides group homes for disabled adults, and York South is the region they cover, the south end of York Region. York Region being like a county, where my town is. And because it's quite heavily populated, they had it divided into north and south. So I did my co-op placement there. I went to different group homes and day programs, and I absolutely loved it. And unfortunately, I asked one of the staff there, what do you study in school for this job? And they said DSW, Developmental Service Worker. I misheard. I thought she said PSW, which is something else entirely. It's unfortunate that I misheard. I do wish I'd done DSW in college instead of ECE. Um, I think when I discuss college more, I'll get more into that. But I did fine in my co-op placement. So first semester of grade 12, probably my best semester in high school. I had English, math, and an elective called horror fiction. So English was pretty uneventful. The class was a little bit chaotic, but the teacher had a good control of it. Math was interesting. I didn't do math in grade 11. You only need 3 math credits to graduate. So even though I was in grade 12, I was in a grade 11 math class because I needed that credit. But because I started high school a year late, I was actually 2 years older than everyone else in that class. Which nobody really seemed to question, and it was nice to be with a different group of students who didn't have any preconceptions of me yet, so that was nice. The teacher was a little lax. I spent a lot of time with my desk in the corner to get away from the noise a little bit, but I passed, it was fine. And then the elective horror fiction was an English course where we would study Edgar Allan Poe, Stephen King. We watched the movies as well, and then you would write stuff. I enjoyed that course. The teacher was great. I got along with the other students. Like I said before, they got better with me once I dumped EAs. So that went well. And then last semester of high school was slightly interesting. I had 4 courses. They didn't give me a spare because I needed 4 credits to graduate. If I had a spare, I wouldn't have been able to graduate in June. So I had 4 courses to start with anyway. I had chemistry, religion, and math. And my first period of the day was a course, it's supposed to be a follow-up to the parenting class. The parenting class is where you take care of the baby doll. And this was supposed to be a follow-up, like life skills, like budgeting and stuff. And this teacher, though, I'm not being crass. I believe this teacher has mental health concerns. I don't know what she was teaching, but it was not the subject. 2 things that stick out in my mind was she showed us the episode of Oprah featuring The Secret, and we had an assignment on The Secret. And the other thing was when she asked us to make a chart and keep track of our budget. And many of us being in high school didn't really have jobs, didn't, do a lot of shopping or spending. And often if we did, it was our parents' money. And when we told her this, like the whole class was in agreement, when we told her this, she was like, well, then track your parents' budgets. And we were all like, what? Like, my mom would flip if I did that. And rightly so. It's not no one else's business. I just remember getting really fed up in that class, fed up with the teacher. And I had a complete meltdown in the special ed department, saying I wanted to get out of that class. And this was a Friday. The teacher was away that day. And they said, your choices are either drop the class right now or wait till Monday when the teacher's in and we'll have a meeting. and I chose to drop the class, which, yes, is a hallmark of emotional dysregulation, but I don't regret it. It was weird. I couldn't put up with her. Plus, I benefited from having a spare period, and what they did so I could still graduate. I got a partial credit. I guess I was about a third of the way into the semester, so I got a partial credit, and then I did another one of those ILCs. It was entrepreneurship, and they were missing one of the books, so I did 3 of the books. So I think they gave me a partial credit for the ILC and a partial credit for the class with the weird teacher. So therefore, I had a full credit to graduate with. My high school was amazing to me. The other classes I had in grade 12, I had chemistry. I found that very difficult because it was a little bit abstract for me. It's hard to picture some of this stuff in my head. But I managed to pass. And the teacher knew me from grade 7, actually, and she was amazed at the difference in me. I remember that. I had religion. That was interesting because a lot of badly behaved students, the teacher had zero control. I remember a kid climbing up the window in the middle of class once. He broke his foot or something. It was gone for like a month at one point. It was just chaos. Plus, I hated the subject matter. I went to Catholic school. I grew up in a Catholic family, but we're not really religious. We're actually quite liberal. Whereas this guy had like a Bible up his backside. Like, there's no better way to describe this. And I would argue with him a lot, particularly our unit on sexuality. It was just everything's a sin. Birth control is a sin. Reproductive assistance is a sin. I remember him talking about that. And there was a set of twins in my class who were conceived by IVF. For some reason, everyone knew that. I remember the looks on their faces when he was talking about this. What else? I actually would walk out of the class a lot because I didn't want to hear him. He put bestiality and homosexuality in the same sentence. So I was like, all right, hallway time. So I did not enjoy that class, needless to say. And then finally there was math. By grade 12, the paramedic thing had gone out the window. Partially because of that work in chemistry, but also the physical nature of it and the stress and blah, blah, blah. For whatever reason, I had turned to practical nursing, a type of nursing, and I needed a 4th math credit to be accepted into that program. So I took math, and I hated it. I got a C, which is my worst mark in school, except for drama. The teacher was good. The other students were mostly good. Although the teacher did get frustrated sometimes because we seemed to have a hard time with a lot of the concepts. But I passed the course-ish. And I graduated high school, and I did get accepted into practical nursing, which did not work out, and that will be the next video. I will discuss college.